All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another week of Showtime with Jordan von Haslow and Friends on Hot 702.5 FM Las Vegas. Today, I have a very, very special friend, the wonderful, talented actor, director, singer, dancer,
Yeah,
dancer,
we had to do all of it.
stuntman, Mr. DeMone Seraphin. Thank you so much for joining me this week.
What's up, baby? I didn't want to be left out.
It's
I
so
thought,
funny because I actually saw when I saw your post on Cheryl's thing. It's like, hello, where is mine?
listen, sometimes you got to invite yourself to the party. I
But
said,
that's what you do, because as a matter of fact, I did that with you. So it's so funny. Speaking of Cheryl, everyone out there listening. So I actually met Damone at a reading of
hmm
one of Cheryl's musicals.
yeah,
Cheryl's the librettist on this musical, and she invited me to this reading at some theater in Hell's Kitchen in New York.
yeah,
And I went, and afterwards, Damone was one of the performers in it. I feel like you played like a preacher, or like a
I
really
did,
judgy preacher, or something
I
like
did,
that.
I did.
And we started talking, and then Damone's like, "Oh, I grew up in Chicago," and I said, "Oh, I grew up in Chicago." And then he went, "I graduated from the Chicago Academy for the Arts," and then I said, "Wait, I graduated from the Chicago Academy for the Arts," and then it turned out we knew all of these people together and all of that, and so we
Yeah.
became fast friends that way. And then very, very shortly after,
hmm
I remember somehow, and I don't know if it was via, "What are you drinking, darling?"
Honey, this is Tito's and cranberry.
Tito's and cranberries. Well, I'm drinking a nice cab from
Okay.
California. I've been stuck in Nevada, and so I'm missing California. So
Okay.
cheers.
Cheers to you, baby.
Indeed.
Oh, we're in the right color scheme.
Exactly. It's
It,
all
it,
about reds this season.
you see that tie? You see my tie? You
You
see
got to
my tie?
coordinate.
Got coordinate. Got coordinate. That's the late
But
John Witherspoon.
but I think like very shortly after we met at her
hmm
thing, um, somehow I came across the Evening with series, Blake
hmm
Allen's Evening with
hmm
series,
hmm
and I had never heard of it, and I didn't know anything about it, and I read it, and I was like, I want in. And
hmm
so I go and find him on Facebook, and I'm like, well, we have three friends in common. None of them I know really well, but I only just met him, so he still remembers me.
Yeah.
Hey, and, and that turned into a really great. He invited me, and I did in October. I did his Eartha Kitt show,
Right.
and before that, like, cause he's like such a genius. He actually he completely arranged. I did it at the Skokie Theater in
Okay.
Chicago. I
Okay.
did an evening. I decided I wanted to do an orchestra show, and I hired like a 13-piece orchestra. And Leah Michelle is pregnant. It
Oh,
just popped up on my phone.
well, look at that, Leah.
But and he arranged the entire thing in like 2 days. Like that man is a freaking savant. And
He is pretty brilliant.
he was supposed to be arranging my next show here on the Vegas Strip, but then the world shut down, and so we're just kind of in limbo there. But my point is, we had a very random, auspicious meeting, and we know all of these people. We grew up with a lot of the same people.
Yeah. And look at us now, darling. Look at us
Look at us
now.
now. Wait, so what are you doing now? Because every time I chat with you, you're doing something. You're like, I'm in North Carolina doing the blah 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 blah. I'm in LA doing the reunion of the freaking, I don't know, the original cast of Showboat. Like,
Ragtime. Listen, I'm trying not to kill my children. That's what I'm trying not to do. I'm a homeschool teacher now. No, this moment of what I call pandemic pause, um, has been very difficult. Let me say that it's been emotionally draining with all of the losses, but it's proved to be quite valuable in the way we renegotiate how we as theater practitioners and artists, one, how we go about the business of excavating our stuff so that we
mhm.
gauge the audiences rightly. And so it's been a cool experience to kind of work through my ish,
Mhm.
to get quiet, to be still, um, do some cleaning, and then figure out what my offering can be
Yeah.
and how my offering can be. Because one of the conversations we've been having is that we've not really been paying attention to our audiences. we've been kind of heaping things on top of them.
Yeah,
Um,
like this is what I want to say, so listen to it versus
yeah, yeah. Well,
what are you
conversation.
looking to digest?
Yeah. How do we serve you? Because first and foremost, I think our craft, what we do is about service.
Yeah.
Um, it can't be selfish. Uh, it's about putting a thing out so that it can enlighten, yes, entertain, but also heal, convict, transform. Um, but you can't do that if you got a bunch of ish.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, I'm a Christian, and I'm a preacher on top of all the other stuff that I do. Um, but I don't want to be preachy, so I'm gonna say it like this: sometimes the universe will create situations that will force you into a space to take note and to get better.
Yeah.
In the Old Testament, there's that one part of the psalm that everybody loves. Uh, the verse says, "He makes me to lie down in green pastures," and that word "makes" it's to
Uh,
form, it's to force.
yeah, it's a control. Like it's a control. Like
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't an option.
yeah,
Like
because we won't
like
do it. Actually, it was an option. We didn't take the right option, so he's like, "I'm gonna make you lay down." Now I'm not gonna kill you. Green pastures is a place of plenty. So I'm gonna make you lay down. I'm gonna make sure you have what you need, but you got some work to do.
yeah.
You got some work to do. So I think that's the outside of all the pain. So that's long way this is the long way to answer your question. After all doing that introspection the first 2 weeks, I've been directing these kind of live virtual things. I'm about to do a reading of the August Wilson canon.
Oh.
Um, and I think I can say this out loud, because if it doesn't happen, then whatever. But we're looking at an exploration of an all-female reading of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh. That'll be
So that,
interesting.
yeah, I had some other shows that have been postponed. I'm actually going back home to Chicago. Hopefully, they haven't pulled the plug on this yet. But in late summer to direct a new musical called The Last Diva. So that's hopefully that won't get. But my other projects have been postponed.
Where is that supposed to be opening?
At the Den Theater.
I
Is
don't
that
know the
right?
Den Theater. Might be
Yeah.
after my time. I haven't lived in Chicago in a really,
Listen,
really
it was
long
a
time.
new space for me too, and I saw it's a beautiful space. Um, and we just really just inked the deal to go there, and then everything went.
Went sideways.
Listen, the universe said y'all need a pause. You need to sit down
Yeah.
somewhere. So yeah, that's that. We did. I sing with the Broadway Inspirational Voices, and we just did a virtual recording of our version of "You Will Be Found." Which I think ours is better. Um, can I say that?
I
Is that
love
okay?
choral singing.
Yeah. Oh,
I used to sing with the choir. Do you know Essential Voices?
yeah. I did a
Yeah,
thing with them.
I was a founding member of Essential Voices.
Okay, so can I tell you this real quickly? See, this keeps happening to us. I forget the game. There was a game. There was an essential. There was a there was a game that we sang the score, the music while the game was playing live.
Like a sports game?
No, it was a video game.
Oh.
It was a video game, and we sang the music. It was a popular game. I can't remember
Well,
the.
shit, I left Essential Voices way too early.
You left way too early. I got invited to do that with them.
That's so funny. Well, because I was laughing about that because I was watching the Stephen Sondheim 90th birthday, and I remember the year that Essential Voices was formed. We did the 80th birthday at
Ooh,
Carnegie Hall with the New York Pops and with
probably had more black people in the choir than the show than it was in the last night's performance.
there
More
wasn't.
people.
I was like it.
You were it?
But
Huh. Listen,
I'm trying to even remember who a lot of the soloists were. It was I think Christiane Knoll did it.
of course.
Um, oh gosh, what's the guy? His name is not Adam. Younger guy, really dark hair. About 10 years ago, he was like kind of coming up. His name was like Adam. I don't remember, because I remember one of the theater queens was like really like shocked that I didn't know who he was. Like I might
They're
as well,
all the same.
like,
You
but
hear them all.
but I was just laughing like, oh my goodness, time passes so quickly. Like that was 10 years ago, and that was like so much. But that's so funny. So there you go. So we
Yeah.
both know Judy Clurman. So
Yep. 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 Yep.
yeah.
So funny.
Did you oh, but you were talking about the Broadway inspirational voices.
Oh yes, Michael McElroy is a genius, and he did a beautiful arrangement of "You Will Be Found," and we did. Everyone's doing all these virtual recordings and piecing them together from our homes, and we did ours, and it should be coming out soon. So keep your ears and eyes open for that.
Yeah, please.
Broadway
So
inspiration.
interesting. I'm kind of curious as to because what's so interesting, and you know who said something very interesting? It was, of all people, Bethany Frankel.
Uh-huh.
The Real House, because she was saying like she thinks that this artistically, or like from an entertainment perspective, that this is gonna be kind of an equalizer, because now everybody, whether you're Meryl Streep or whether you're some kid down the block, we all are just creating content on the same devices in the same way, in the same, and it's going to be an equalizer. People who once were like, it's just, they're no different than us, and people who maybe didn't have access in a lot of ways are
Yeah.
all of a sudden, and I think it's really interesting.
Again, I think and that's a great word, which is why last night, or was it Saturday? Last night, it was Saturday.
It was no, it
So
was Saturday. I think it was Saturday.
Saturday, which is why that celebration was so absurd. And my friends whose skin has not been darkened by nature's sun still don't understand why people were frustrated. Um, that we celebrate this genius to the American musical. And it's not to say that we weren't there, because
They were in the ensemble.
we listen, when you have your comfortable three, all just part of that comfortable three.
Yeah,
Stokes is part of that comfortable three.
yeah,
Lynn is a friend, but he can't sing. But he's singing one of the hardest songs in the canon. That he's comfortable. But you have all of these. The thing was almost 2 hours and some change, and it's not until the last 30 minutes, 20 minutes of the piece of the evening that you realize that the American musical is not monolithic.
hmm
Up until that point, you thought it's the Great White Way for the Great White people, celebrating the Great White Composer. And then you have the nerve to put the Tony-winning Andre DeShields
Oh, that
in
was
a
my first thing.
snippet,
The first
and
I
you
was like,
start this song with some little white boy who don't understand the words he's singing, and then he
I
gets a whole verse and a half. What?
well, I can I tell you that was like a shock, because like when it ended and then they went to like the ensemble singing, they went back to the little kids singing, and I'm like, okay, so this is where they're gonna just put. And then the first thing is Andre DeShields is like, where the hell was he?
You couldn't even find him. I said, this is problem, but this is you. But you said something interesting, Jordan. The hope is that we can realize that there are no big eyes and little U's. Yes, there are stars.
hmm
Um, but the fabric of the American musical, the fabric of New York City, the fabric of the country we live in
Yeah.
is there are a multiplicity of stories. There's a multiplicity of colors and flavors, and for it to be singular is problematic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah, go
no,
ahead.
go for it. We would say and.
Well, I just because then there's a conversation like it's so hard. But it's not. I'm trying not to cuss because I'm frustrated because it's not hard. I'm a director as well. And when I come into a process, unless the pieces are very specific, if I'm casting Beauty and the Beast, or if I'm putting together, oh, I don't know, well, we were talking about it. Let's just say Gypsy.
hmm
Um, You know, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
I don't just go right away to the white narrative. I don't go right away to the easy vanilla. I'm looking to see, ooh, what other colors and flavors and fragrances
Like
and
how can we it's kind of like I think what culinary artists do. It's like how can
yeah,
we what other spices and what other flavors can
boom,
we do that will make this the most interesting thing that's ever been on your palate?
yes, we
Yeah.
don't do that in the theater.
Yeah.
We are
So do you think
singular
but
and
I mean here's the thing. I mean like, like you've worked in the theater all your life. I think it's a couple of things and I don't think it's like one thing I think theater is very cliquey. I think
yeah,
people tend to work with who they work with. I
yeah,
know you, I like you, and so
yep,
you're the first person that I call.
absolutely.
um there is politics involved, right? And there
Yep,
is, like in who this producer likes and who this producer hates and who this
yep,
like there's politics involved. I also think and I'm going to say this cautiously because I don't want to be misinterpreted. While I don't like there are a lot of actors and vocalists of color. I also think that the musical, this specifically talking about black folks, I
hmm
also think that the theater is something that black folks aren't really is not immersed in black culture.
hmm
Like I can just even just remember like when I started studying theater, when I started doing theater, like, it's like, what's that?
hmm
Why aren't you singing R&B? Why aren't
hmm
you,
hmm
oh my mama, I won't, like, I don't know. I just, so I think it's a twofold thing. Like, yeah, there may be there is a bit of being able to break the barrier, but I also think that a, I think that there, and I'm on live air, so I should be talking faster. It's only a 55-minute show. I also, but I also think that the level of exposure and immersion of theater into Black culture, and when I say theater, I don't necessarily mean like the Chitlin Circuit plays and the
Sure.
gospel plays, but like
Yeah.
very well written dramatic stories, and
Yeah.
it's not a part of the culture, and it's almost to a certain extent shunned by the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
There many times throughout my childhood I can remember like, why are you singing that white music? Why are
Yeah.
you listening to that white music? So I just don't think it's just the blame of.
Sure. But I
Yeah.
also think we're also educators too. And so
Hmm.
for that very reason, we have to open up the gates so that people have a wider appreciation. You appreciate ultimately what looks like, reminds you, makes you think of you.
Hmm.
So if I hear Sammy Davis Jr. singing, finishing the hat, how you got to finish the hat. Oh
Ah.
my God. Then now I know about Sunday in the Park with
Oh,
George.
touche. Okay, good.
If I
That's
when
good.
I hear Nell Carter sing, oh, I don't know, not a day goes by, not a
Hmm.
single day. Oh my God, Nell Carter just turned me on to
To this.
Merrily We Roll Along. Like so it you would widen the audience and make a deeper connection when you have make folks see themselves.
Ah.
And for gatekeepers, it is well within your hands to do it.
Hmm.
You said
So
something.
what do you think? Well, then, well, tell me this.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm going to be contrarian again. Do you
Mhm.
think that the issue with gatekeepers is the fact that, yes, we're educators, but at the end of the day, I have a bottom line, and black people don't go to the theater
Yes. So
unless
here,
it stars Deborah Cox.
well, and but see, but don't shun Deborah Cox because
I'm not
Deborah.
sunning Deborah Cox.
No, but I'm saying Deborah
Oh,
Cox can actually do the do.
oh, I see what you're saying. So hire
Don't bring
Deborah
in
Cox.
P. Diddy. P. Diddy can't act. So when you go see P. Diddy on the stage doing Raising in the Sun, you go, what the hell am I doing here? He can't even speak of the English. But if you go find, oh, I don't, go get Queen Latifah, Kim Fields. People still love Kim Fields, and the girl can sing. Um,
Can she?
Yeah. Oh, Kim
I've
Phillips.
never heard her sing. I didn't know she sang
Yeah.
at all. I thought she
Yeah.
always did either straight plays or television. I didn't know
Oh
she
no,
was
she can sing. I mean, she's making money. She's trying to make that money.
a singer.
So that's the other problem. We got to get folks to be like, now we can't give you what you're gonna make in TV and film. Although I'm gonna say this, and I'll probably get in trouble because this is live, but I'm always in trouble. They find the money to pay Bernadette Peters, and they find the money to pay Patti LuPone. They find the money. They got it.
Absolutely.
So
But that said, Patti LuPone and Bernadette Peters still don't make what they would make in TV if they had the TV cachet of a TV star.
right. So here's my point. We didn't do it right with Usher either because Usher couldn't get through 8 shows a week. Um,
I didn't see. I just remember it sold out. Like, was he like canceling
for
shows
the
and stuff?
5 minutes that he was in there, yeah, it sold out.
Really? But like he
Yeah.
wasn't like making shows and things like that.
He couldn't sustain. He got injured, I think. Allegedly. Let me say, allegedly.
That just makes me so. I don't know, because maybe it's because of just growing up in Chicago or wherever. It's like in my mind, everyone started in theater. Do you know what I'm saying? So it,
Yeah.
like the whole idea that you and I get like once you get to a certain age, like place in your career, it's like yeah, no, I don't want to do 8 shows a week. I want to do one show every 2 weeks and make the exact same. I get that, but the whole idea of not being able to do it and also just not having that like I don't know that the audience is just so addictive.
Yeah.
Like it's like to me it's like the ultimate drug, and so it's like funk that like
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just
Yeah.
so strange to me.
Brandy was amazing. Brandy was
Yeah,
amazing. So why not put Brandy in this hoot nanny of a music man that you're about to bring back?
yeah.
Why not put Brandy in there? I mean, our boy Jackman is great. He's great. I get it. Bring Hugh. But if we want to talk about leveling the playing field, like you just said, back to that point that you were making, then there are other like Brandy is dying to come back to Broadway.
You know, can I tell you, I also think part of the problem is New York, and I didn't realize this until I moved across the country.
Mhm.
Even though New York is the center of the world, and New York is the you know the pinnacle of every industry is in New York. New York is a bubble.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're in New York and you live in New York and you work in New York and you've been there forever, you
Yep.
forget that there's a world outside of New York, and you forget. And I think that that is a big thing as well, because New York is thinking about like, well, this is who we like on Broadway. This is who plays the Carlisle. This is who blah blah blah. This is this is, and it's like actually no, like
Right.
this is so I think that that's a could be a
But to that end though, Jordan, now I'm gonna be contrarian
yeah.
because to that end, we bust in those stars from LA. We bring in folks. So we're not we're not ignorant unless LA benefits us, Hollywood benefits us. So what's your boy? Um Die Hard.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Hell, Bruce Willis can come in and be the next Sweeney Todd because he's LA and hell he can sing it, but
That
we're
would
gonna bring
actually
in
be
that money.
cool. Like,
Come on, right? Harvey Firestein is still singing in musicals. When should he have ever opened his mouth to sing in a musical? Never. But he's a brilliant writer. That's his cachet there. He's a brilliant actor. Made a presence in LA in
yeah.
movies. And so yeah, we'll put him because people love that kind of he's the sassy gay guy, the one with voice and he's funny and he's quippy, right? But some enchanted come on. If it was anybody else, we would have booed him off the stage a million years ago. If I was I'm getting nodes just doing it. Yaiga, daiga, daiga, daiga.
But
What?
he has a built-in fan base.
That's my point. So if you're gonna steal from LA and we're talking about leveling, there's some famous black folk out there. If we want Latinos, let's level it. Because the people will come. You'll get new money. You probably won't get
The
the old
same, you'll get different money.
You gonna, but the
and
but the
and that
numbers still
and
go
that
up.
can ultimately, yeah, no, I totally get that.
Tyler Perry is a billionaire. I'm not a fan of the content, but that man is a billionaire.
So
Tyler Perry.
you want Tyler Perry to come to Broadway?
I don't want Tyler Perry to come to Broadway. I for damn sure don't want that. He ain't coming anyway because he got to pay unions and deal with all that
All
stuff.
right, you guys don't want to do
Uh,
that.
he ain't
I
coming.
can only imagine it. Tyler Perry presents the Tyler
Medea
Perry
on Broadway.
musical, The Phantom of the Opera, starring
But
Tyler Perry.
now, you want to shut down Broadway? Do that. Then it's over. It won't take no pandemic. If
He's
you got,
reopening, by the way. Before we started talking, I was watching on the news that he's about to reopen his studios. And I think what he's doing, he's bringing everyone onto the campus, and like, you have to like get your temperature, get your test. And
Mhm.
then while they're in production, you have to live on campus. Which I think is actually smart, because I was actually kind of thinking, why aren't the studio, like, I was like, oh my God, like if I were like the head of like, Warner's, I might say like, okay, these particular pictures, where are we going? You know what? You have to just fucking stay on the lot. Pardon
Yep.
my language. You have to stay
No,
on the lot. You have to stay on, in wherever we are. And so I think it is kind of brilliant, but they're not
I
going to make it
do.
anyway.
I hope they got some good doctors and he can afford them. I hope they all get tested every day
Yeah.
because it's not over.
Yeah.
It's
No.
not over.
Where are you quarantining? Are you in New
I'm in
York?
Queens, New York. I'm in
Yowza. And
Queens.
like, so have you left that, because especially Queens, because Queens is like the hot spot. Like I've
Well,
go for it.
yeah, I do. I now I tell everybody, stay home. Now I'm gonna be honest. I put my mask on. I have my Lysol wipe. I spray it down, and I go to the grocery store. I take a walk. When I'm feeling really stir crazy, I get on that number 60 bus. I sit by the window. I wipe down everything with my wipes.
uh
And I'm a bigger black dude, so I look kind of threatening if you look like you're gonna come sit next to me. And I ride with the window open, so I'm getting fresh air. And I just ride around just so I feel like I've been out and not going crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but the problem here is people aren't being responsible. If you're gonna be outside, then take all the precautions.
That's what I was talking to my friend Karen, who lives in Queens. As a matter of fact, she lives in Long Island City. I was talking to her today, and she was saying, "Oh my God, I went outside, and like people are just like, they're just walking by you. They're just like, huh?" And she was like, she went to the store, and the guy like kept getting closer to her when he was helping her, and she was like,
Yeah,
"What the hell?" Like she kind of
yeah.
went off on one person.
I did too. I did. I did too. People bringing their whole families to the store. These little kids, and they're not keeping. If they have a mask now, although I was in the store yesterday, and the store manager saw someone in without a mask and promptly kicked him out.
Good.
And
Isn't it required?
it is required, but us. Maybe this is why they don't want us around because rules. Come on, let's be honest about us, people. Maybe we part of the problem. Now, don't have me advocating for us and then and ain't following the rules. Maybe that's why we're not on Broadway. These these folks don't
Because
follow
we
the
don't
rules.
follow the
Uh,
rules.
Listen, Junebug and Bebe and them out there, and they got the mask. You got it
Okay,
around your neck,
speaking,
but it
I
ain't
have an
on your
us
face.
story, a New York us story. So I forget, this is years ago now.
Mhm.
Picture it. June,
Come
New
on,
York
Golden
City,
Girl. Come on, Golden Girl.
City Center Encores, The Wiz.
Ooh,
Directly in front of me, I was with my friend. Do you know Greg Solomon?
I
He
do.
loves. Do you know Greg Solomon?
Mhm.
You do? Oh, you know Greg Solomon.
Yeah, yeah.
Greg and I are like old for like Greg's one of my like one of the first friends I had when I was in.
I thought you
See
were
what
about
I
to
mean?
break
We
my
keep
heart.
we know so many people.
You do. I thought you were about to break my heart for a minute. I was like,
Oh,
don't.
right. Well, so Greg and I were there to see The Wiz, and we could even talk about that production because that's a whole other story.
Ooh,
But
baby.
directly in front of us were a couple of us, and I kid you not, before the overture, the lights were still up. They
hmm
opened their bag,
And
and
out
one
came the.
pulls out like a Subway sandwich and like Lay's potato chips. And I'm like,
Now that's the problem. They don't want us to come see Filet Delaney's A Taste of Honey because that means we're gonna bring in the honey rotisserie chicken. There's some rules for us, folks, my people. I get it. I know. So no, you can't pull out your turkey sandwich during the overture of Pacific Overtures. You can't do it.
Oh my God! But you saw that production of The
Oh,
Wiz?
wretched.
I was so sad. You know what it reminded me? And I said this to Greg, and he was like, "As a matter of fact, I think like he thought it was." I felt like, okay, Ashante can't act her way on a paper bag. That's a whole
Very
other
true.
situation.
It should
And
have been.
Godfrey, how how like it takes a special talent to be replaced during like a 3-week limited run, but. like there's community theater productions that run longer than that. But
Maybe.
what I felt in it was that, and this is what I said to Greg. I'm talking to him. What I said to Greg during the intermission, I said, what I feel is that everybody on the stage is having their own private, I'm in the Wiz, oh my God, I'm in the Wiz moment, but no one's interacting. I said it felt like a circle jerk.
Yeah.
Everyone's enjoying
A
themselves,
bad one
but
too.
nobody's interacting.
Yeah, it was a bad one. It was a
And
bad
it
one.
could have been, and it's so sad because it could have been so. Who directed that?
I think it was Tom. I think it was Tommy Cale. I think it was Tommy Cale.
Wow. Well,
Hamilton and In the Heights fame. Listen, you can't
okay.
direct everything. Some things you just shouldn't touch.
Yeah. And maybe that's like a kind of a special thing because it is like a cult classic in a way,
You
and
know,
everyone has their own kind of like the audiences are coming in there with their own idea of what this is supposed to be.
now you are opening the door for another conversation. Because while we're having this conversation about diversity, there are just some things that should not be touched by certain hands and sensibility. I mean it. Listen, August Wilson was very adamant. Don't let no white people direct my stuff.
Yeah.
And then Bartlett Sher, in all of his arrogance, directs this beautiful production of Joe Turner's Come and Gone. That's your first strike. It's not a beautiful play.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, in this ornate boarding house, you missed
You missed the whole.
you missed page one. No sense of ritual, because you don't know the mores. You don't,
Mm-hmm.
and then you so arrogant that you don't investigate the mores and the rituals, the how fors and the wherefores.
You're just coming at it from where
And
you
you're
come
and
from.
you're traffic copying it. Now people are just moving with no sense of foundation, no sense of history, no sense of authenticity, to the point that people who were Wilson aficionados are now doing their own what they remember when they were directed by Lloyd, when Lloyd directed them.
Yeah.
Because this Bartlett dude don't know, but I'm gonna get this check. I'm gonna get this check though. I'm not gonna walk out the rehearsal room. Although I would respect you and applaud you to get into a situation and go, this ain't us. This don't represent us, right? I'm
Yeah.
out. I would. The Wiz. What people fail to remember about the Wiz was that it was a commentary on the place of Black people, Black artists in the industry. So all of those inner comments on what the dominant cultures said we could and could not do, you miss that when you don't come with that sensibility.
Yeah.
That's what the Wiz was. Oh, you don't want us to do the Wizard of Oz?
So
Why?
we'll do it with yeah.
Okay. And we're gonna talk about you while we do it. Because that's what it is. All
Yeah.
of these grand commentaries on the disallowances of the dominant culture for people to come in and just play with characters that, though we revere them, they are not real.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But now in this context, no, you cannot have a Filipino Dorothy. No, you cannot have a Greek lion. It's too specific.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I
I
totally get that.
so it's like I mean,
Well, The Wiz is very unique in that way. There aren't that many things, but there are other. Let me think. That are so much about of a specific. But no, I understand, and I actually agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I think you're absolutely right.
because there's some Eugene O'Neill plays, though I like them, I go, oh, this is real specific.
Mm-hmm.
This is real specific.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
hairy ape is real specific.
Yeah.
That's Williams. That's not O'Neill.
So
But
what's
you
your
see what I did right there? You see what I did right there? Because I went to that conservatory. I went to their school. Here's the other reason why you want us. Because we're multilingual. And that's because of y'all. We don't really speak your language. We probably speak your language better than you do.
Well, speaking of that, it was like that's actually where I was going with this because I don't, I really don't know much about your background other than we went to the same high school. So
Really?
DeMone Seraphin,
Yes.
what kind of name is that?
I'm half West Indian.
Okay.
My name at birth, I don't speak because the person who named me sexually abused me. So
Okay.
I don't speak my first name.
Okay.
I go by Damone is actually my middle name. Uh,
Hmm.
Seraphin is my birth father's last name. I did not get to know my birth father. He died after I was born. I did not meet my siblings until after 9/11.
Oh wow.
Yes, I did not grow up with them. I had two brothers who lived here in New York who actually lived up the street from me. We could have known and passed each other. I have a sister who I just met at the top of last year. I
Oh my
just
gosh.
She lives in the Bronx. I have another sister who lives in Washington, and then I have another sister who lives in London. Um, so I took my dad's last name once my siblings we all got connected. They were like, "You're a Seraphin. That's your name. That's
Wow.
um." So yeah. So I grew up on the
It's
west side.
6 o'clock.
I grew up on the west side of Chicago. Um,
Whereabouts?
I was in Garfield Park,
Oh my God, that's
the
so
Chicago
funny. So
Avenue and Holman.
I grew up in Forest Park,
Oh wow,
and
okay.
my family for years, like the family building my uncle owned, it was at 1121 South Pulaski.
Oh, we know. What? You could have passed each other. This is like me. You could be
Probably
cousins.
like my
You
grandfather
could
lived
be
there.
cousins.
He owned like it was closed by the time like I was like around, but he had a club called the 1121 Club, and it was like a storefront, and it had two
I know
floors.
it.
You know the 1121 Club?
Yes.
That was
Okay,
my
so
grandfather's
but so
bar.
watch this. I went to the Better Boys Foundation
Okay.
on 14th and Pulaski.
That is so funny. So
I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan is my cousin.
right?
His grandmama and my grandmama were sisters. Uh, we got secrets in black families.
Oh
So
my God, right?
listen, I'm half West Indian. We got a lot of secrets.
Oh my
Apparently, I
God.
got another brother running around somewhere.
So maybe I'm him. Who knows?
Maybe like our noses are kind of similar a little bit. Um,
So you
yeah,
grew up in
I grew
Garfield
I grew
Park.
up in Gulfport Park. I went to the Better. I wandered. I was 9 years old when I wandered into the Better Boys Foundation, and there was this theater program happening, and people were running around acting crazy and not getting in trouble.
Okay.
I was 9 years old when I ran around acting crazy. I got in trouble to the
Uh,
point that when I in school they thought something was wrong with me because I was just so active.
yeah.
Um, and then I got into this theater program, and I tell people not only did I get a career at 9, but the man who was teaching that theater class became my father. So I got a dad and a career out the deal.
That's awesome.
In that program were people like Antoine Rochelle
Hmm.
uh, and oh Tony Tony was a celebrated TV personality. Antoine did a lot of film and TV. So at 9, I came into this program while these guys were doing TV shows. They were older teenagers, but doing TV and movies. And I was like, these people are running around being crazy, not getting in trouble, and
they're on TV.
And they're getting paid to do it. I went home and I said, I know what I want to do. Oh my God. I was 9 years old, and I remember my mother would tell you, I came home and I was like, Mommy, I want to be in the theater. I want to be in the theater program at BBF. I got to be in it. I got to go. And the teacher is cool. He's cool, man. Ma, he's cool. Can I go? I went there, and my dad was also a professional actor. So he wasn't just some guy who taught English at the school teaching theater at the neighborhood Black Kids Club.
Yeah.
He was a professional actor and director. And so because of him, we got to so I'll talk about Oprah, because you went to the academy and you were probably a beneficiary of the Oprah Winfrey Scholarship in some way, shape, or form.
Probably, because I know it was a really, really big scholarship.
I was the first recipient, and I'll talk about that. Okay. But because of that program, I took dance every Saturday at Ruth Page.
Oh, yeah.
And because of meeting people like Larry Long, God bless his memory, he introduced me to people like Joyce Sloan.
Oh, Joyce!
Oh, no, watch this. It's going to get better. You know, Joyce Sloan was the executive producer of Second City.
Yeah.
She discovered people like John Kerry and the Belushi Boys, Martin Short. So she took a liking to me and said, you should come to the academy. Watch this. Like Antoine Rochelle went to the academy. Okay, what the hell is the academy? The Chicago Academy for the Visual and Performing Arts. It's the only one of 4 private performing arts high schools in the country. You should go. But before you go to the academy, there's this summer theater program that I want you to be a part of at Wisdom Bridge Theater.
Okay.
Wisdom Bridge no longer is around, but Bob Falls, artistic director of the Goodman Theater, it's all adding up. I'm here. We don't have a lot of time. Bob Falls was the artistic director of Wisdom Bridge. So I'm taking the summer program at Wisdom Bridge.
Oh my God.
Under Bob Falls, because of Joyce Sloan, who then introduces me to people who are going to pay my way through the academy. I was the first full scholarship recipient at the academy. Now watch what happens. Those people went bankrupt.
And the academy?
Yeah, not the academy, but the people who were paying my scholarship.
Okay, got it.
Went bankrupt in my senior year, leaving my mother like a $10,000-$15,000 bill. And they were like, you can't come back to the school. You gotta balance. And I was like, no, we gonna get it done. Go back to the BBF. They raised a little money for me to help it, but they couldn't foot the whole bill because they were other scholarships for other people. There's this woman named Oprah Winfrey, who back in that time, she was just Oprah Winfrey. She wasn't Oprah.
Yeah.
She was doing this movie called The Women of Brewster Place.
Oh, I remember that movie. I remember that came out.
And I booked a part in that. Now, what I did ended up on the cutting room floor. It's okay, I was a kid. But that check, so back up. I was talking about the academy on set, and she knew who Joyce Sloan was, but now we facilitated this meeting between Oprah and Joyce.
Oh, my God.
And Oprah joined the board of the academy.
Wait a second. Wait, stop. Wait. The conversation with you got Oprah to the academy.
Yeah. Well, the conversation with me introduced her to Joyce.
That's what I'm saying. Like, facilitated this whole chain
which is how that Oprah Winfrey Scholarship came about, because then she established a scholarship, right? And so the money that I made, I was the beneficiary of that. So that $15,000 that I owed, that scholarship covered. And the money that I made from the Women of Brewster Place, watch this. So remember, I was in the summer program these years prior at Wisdom Bridge.
Yeah.
Bob Falls, then he was
Yeah.
out of the Wisdom Bridge into the Goodman. Because I did Christmas Carol at the Goodman a few times and a bunch of shows thereafter. But there was another director there named Michael Maggio, the late Michael Maggio. Michael, Italian dude, he had cystic fibrosis, so he had half a lung, but he was brilliant. And he would say to me, "You got to go to school. You got to go to college and get a degree, and you can't get just one degree. You got to get more than one degree because you're black." Just like and he's like, "And you should go to CCM. You should go to CCM." I said, "What the hell is the CCM?" Now, press pause because while I was at the academy,
Oh, Cincinnati Conservatory of Music?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
I was like, what is this?
Yep, University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music. And so while I was at the academy in my senior year, I auditioned for a production of Cats, the tour. I was not a dancer then. Vinny Lift, the late Vinny Lift, the casting director, really liked me. Really liked me, made me sing a million songs in my audition, and then told me to come to the dance call. I wasn't going to that dance call. I ditched it and never heard from them again. There's a connecting to that. I'll get to that.
Okay.
Michael Maggio wrote my recommendation for CCM along with Vinny Liff
Okay.
and Bob Falls.
Okay.
Those are my 3 recommendations.
God.
I wasn't going to any other. I hadn't thought about going to any other college. They said I should go to CCM. I auditioned, and if I just assumed I would get in. And they wrote the recommendation. I got in on scholarship.
Wow.
I got in on scholarship. So my trajectory goes from the west side of Chicago to Wisdom Bridge in Second City in the Gold Coast, or really
Old Town.
Old Town. Second City, Wisdom Bridge on the north side. This Negro never went to the north side. Wait a minute.
To the Goodman Theater in
Chicago,
Grant Park.
Gold Coast to Ruth Page. Gold Coast,
Ruth
Page.
yeah.
Then Old Town, Second City to get to Wisdom Bridge.
Yeah.
To get to the Goodman, to get to after school, Vinny Liff saw me again for a production of Joseph. He made me dance. I didn't book Joseph, but years later, 1990, blah, 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 I booked the German company of Miss Saigon. And that started the largesse of my career.
Wow.
So I'm the picture, and there are other degrees and stuff, but we're just talking about performing. I'm the picture of that dude. That there's in the Bible it say, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" And then out comes Jesus. What's up, y'all? I'm the picture they say, "Can anything good come out of the west side of Chicago?" And I'm the good that came out of the west side. I made it over the drug dealers. I made it over gangs. I didn't get, in fact, the gangbangers, because I was doing commercials. I was doing commercials, and the gangbangers were really, "No, don't mess with him, man. Don't mess with him. He good with people. You go to school. Take your ass to school. Don't be fucking around here." Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So my story is really,
that's so great.
When people say you can't do it or it's impossible, I'm like, "Nah, bro." So when white people tell me, or the culture tells me I can't sing Sondheim, I go, "What you don't realize is that I was singing Sondheim when I was 15 years old."
Mm-hmm.
I did a production of You're Gonna Love Tomorrow at the Pegasus Players Theater.
Oh, the Pegasus Players. Are they still around?
Nah, not really. But Sondheim loved that place and loved our production and loved my performance.
That's wonderful.
I was the first black balladeer, and at CCM we did Assassins. Right? Nobody else had in any professional or college production.
Did you go to school with Christy Cates?
No, I went to school with Karen Olivo.
Oh, I've never met Karen Olivo.
Yeah, Karen. Kirsten Wyatt, um, Lynn Philistine, Melvin Tunstall, uh,
Mm-hmm.
those folks. Josh Kobash,
Mm-hmm.
Josh Prince. Um, those are the folks I went to
Those are
school.
the folks who were there.
Uh,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject,
no,
but
no,
like,
no, no, no.
clearly, like, we're gonna keep running into this.
No, no, I mean, listen, our story is the same. Our story is the same. Um, yeah, so that's why I get frustrated, and I get it. I love Audrey's a friend. We ragtime, that's our connection. I love Stokes again, ragtime, and then just being in this community. Um, but there are so many talented, capable, recognizable people of color who could have joined in to that celebration.
Yeah.
And because we live in New York City, and if it is true that we are to be the reflection in the mirror or to hold up the mirror to show the reflection, we've got to then really reflect the culture in which the Broadway community is steeped in.
Yeah.
Latinos and Asians, Greeks and Jews, blacks and whites,
You
gays.
just kind of gave me an idea. I know the whole gypsy thing didn't
Yeah,
come to
yeah,
fruition, but you actually, we'll talk offline. You just gave me,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Write it down. Don't lose it. And we still got to get around to that gypsy idea.
I'm telling you, that really hurt my feelings, but I think it can really, really work. Like, it really hurt my feelings that they would go
I
far.
learned something. I learned something else about why that couldn't happen. I'll tell you that offline too.
Okay.
Some things were brewing as we were trying to
Ah.
put together a creative team.
Uh-huh.
Some things were brewing that weren't a new one. We didn't know.
Well, see, but then that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, there's always so many more. It's
Yeah,
never just like, well, this
yeah,
isn't happening because of this.
yeah,
There's always politics.
yeah,
There's always
yeah,
like this
yeah,
thing. This person is like, oh no, not that mofo.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not happening. And they'll
Yeah.
put the
Well, we're not going to say names, but the two people, the music and the dancing team, were getting a divorce. A
Ah.
lot of the times they were on the phone because they were both mutually interested in the project, but they were also in the middle of their own dismay.
Oh, that
I can
takes
say
that.
that
That's,
because we
oh.
didn't put names out in the. We didn't say names, just to be
That's
anybody.
wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and
Interesting. Okay, that's
I won't say because that dismantled now couple just had a major show off Broadway. Um, that I won't that
so.
um
See, that's what it is. It's always. That's something I learned very early on in my career. Most of the time, it's never about you.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
Ever. Like it's you. Most of the time, it's so not about you.
Beyond
You
you,
can't even comprehend how not about
beyond
you it
you.
is.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's really interesting to me, Jordan. I because but even in that, those two produced the North Broadway show
Hmm.
that gained wild success and attention. Um, so the picture of what's possible.
You can do anything. You
Yeah.
can do.
What,
Listen, I had a hit show on the Las Vegas Strip this year. And you know how that happened? One day, my singing partner at the time, I said, you know what? I've never done Las Vegas. Let's go check it out. And you make it happen. With that said, making
mhm,
it happen, it's now
mhm.
time for the radio station to make it happen with sponsors. And
Uh-oh.
so we have to end the radio part of our show. But what's
No.
really, really wonderful is that we're going to keep the conversation going. So, all of you
Yeah.
listening at home, you want to hear the rest of this conversation, come and listen to the full podcast, which is going to include what you just heard now on Hot 7025 FM, but also the remainder of this conversation. You can find it wherever you find your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. Name another directory. I don't know another directory. But listen,
Be live, Zoom.
Exactly. But for the folks here listening on Hot 702.5 FM, thank you so much for joining me. Uh, oh my God, DeMone, this has been so great, and I can't wait to continue this conversation
Yep.
once we sign off here. Thank you all for your continued support and listening to Showtime with Jordan von Haslow on Hot 702.5, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so continue.
Let- Let's continue. I was like, do I have time to refresh my drink?
Oh
Um,
my God, absolutely.
um, what were we saying? What were we saying? Oh,
We were
yeah, just making it happen.
Yeah, oh my
Make
God, and
it
that's the thing, and
happen.
that's the thing. You just have to just do it.
It's not hard. And here's the thing, because here's another conversation we were having about with theater makers. It's now coming back after this pandemic. We can't come back with business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
We can't heap or throw our own ideologies onto an
Oh
audience.
yeah, this is
We
what you were
now
talking
got
about
to
earlier.
create a space where we serve the audience. We want their dollars, then we've got to figure out a way that honors and serves them that gets them, yes, back into the theater, to not just paying for a ticket, but writing checks now to kind of refuel our
Yeah.
programming. But it isn't programming that gets our rocks off. It's
Mm-hmm.
programming that really considers the hearts, the minds, and wallets of the people we want back in the seats.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So, and if you want those dollars to be plural, then you've got to honor the plurality of your audience, which means you can't do a whole season of Dead White Men. You can't have a whole season of Dead White Men directed by live white men who only see white men.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a season of Dead White, and people get mad at me when I say this, and I take the heat, whatever. Uh, you can have a season of Dead White Men directed by live gay white men who only see live gay white men, or
Mm-hmm.
people who pander to that community.
Yeah.
Not saying gay people shouldn't be, I'm not saying that at all. But if we're honest with ourselves about the gatekeepers of the theater,
Mm-hmm.
it's our gay friends. And it's our gay white male friends who've lost their sense of sensibility, because gay folk ain't always had it sweet and easy and rosy in the
No.
theater. So you can't sit from a place of 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 um of being castigated and then practice castigation.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Um, my godparents, I have three sets of godparents and then a whole host of extended parents. And one set of godparents are Jewish. And everybody knows the relationship between blacks and Jews have always been tenuous. Whose
Mm-hmm.
Holocaust was worse?
Right.
Doesn't matter whose Holocaust was worse. The period says both of you died, either or in an oven. I say that about gay people, and between gay people and it's like black people and people. Doesn't matter whose struggle is worse. Here's the problem: you either got someone tied up on a tree, getting bricks and bottles thrown at their heads, or you got someone tied at the back of a car being drugged down a country road.
Yeah.
So I'm always astonished by my gay friends who are gatekeepers, who who are blind,
Mm-hmm.
who are blind who are blind. Oh my God, we can't find we just had a hard time finding black people for this role. Oh my God, can you give me my clutch bag? I just don't know who we could find. Come on, man, open your eyes. Open your eyes, because people were saying about you,
Yeah.
and you're a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
There's no room for gay people in this. No, no, there is. There's room for everybody in the story.
Totally.
We all make up the pie here. We got
Yeah.
to stop being so narrow.
But I think also, I think everyone, I mean, I think a lot of people who started doing what we do for a living came in with their dream.
Sure.
And I know one of the things that I talk about with, say, like people I graduated with at the academy is how, wow, the world that we kind of trained for and that you were supposed to go into, by the
Mhm.
time we were actually adults, wait, what's this internet? Was it like just everything changed? So I,
Yes.
I I wonder if part of that is well, like people trying to hold on to like a dream, like a vision that they had,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. So my question to that goes, do you have to, especially since things have shifted and changed, you have to look at your vision to see if your vision serves and includes the age you're in.
Totally. But losing a vision, there's a mourning process to that, right? It's like
Absolutely.
getting divorced. It's like a wait a second. Everything that I have to mourn this life or this thing that I thought was gonna I like there's a mourning process.
So
And
here's my
maybe for some people it takes longer to mourn through it. And also, if you have a bunch of people who are mourning the same thing, you're kind of enabling each other to kind of keep that just going.
so here's my question. Here's my question. And it's a cold-blooded question, but I'm gonna ask it.
Go for it.
My grandmother, my heart, my baby girl, she died in my senior year of high school. We were doing Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was a matinee at the Academy.
Who are you playing?
I was Joseph.
Oh,
Come on, Jim
I played
Radloff.
Jesus at the Academy.
Come on.
Jesus.
Was Jim Radloff there when you were there?
What'd you say?
Jim Radloff, was he teaching when you were there?
No, I always heard about Radloff, but he was
Oh,
he was before. I think he might have retired literally the year or left the
yeah,
year before I got there.
he went to go to, he was teaching somewhere else. That's my heart.
Yeah, but I think I heard all about him. I think he might have left the year before I started.
Legendary. Legendary. Um, but it was that intermission of Joseph on that matinee that they pulled me aside and said, "You got to get out of costume. You have to go now. There's a car downstairs waiting for you. You got to get out of costume. You got to go." What's wrong? What's wrong? Just get in the car. They know where you're going, and someone will meet you there. But what? Why? Why? Get out of costume. David Margliano, the understudy, is gonna go. Well, he wasn't the understudy. We flipped
I've
the
been
role.
like, the hell he is. I don't care
Uh,
what's happening. The hell he is. The
uh,
hell he
right. They ain't going on in my part. But in the car with the big old cell phone, I
is.
learned that my grandmother died, and they were taking me to the hospital to be with my family. That was my senior year, 1980. Blah blah blah.
Not for nothing, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but
Yeah,
she was dead.
she was
They
dead.
couldn't have waited until after curtain call.
No, my family was like, get his ass here now. Um, that's my mama and them. That's my mama and them. My mom was like, play be damned, stop it, cancel it, do what you gotta do, get his black ass in the car. His grandmama just died. That was 1980, blah blah blah. Right?
Yeah.
I can't still be sitting in 1980s grief in 2020.
Oh, totally.
Some point you got to snap the hell out of it. And I'm not saying the death of a vision is not painful, but the world is still moving.
Mm-hmm.
And either you're going to take a breath, look at your vision and go, I can't get left behind. Take the time to grieve it, but then while you're grieving, also be like, how do I make this thing happen? Like, how do I not completely lose it? And the way you don't completely lose it is you figure out how that thing fits in the context of the world you live in. Cry
Mm.
your tears at the board meeting in the bathroom, excuse yourself, go cry, and come back to the table. Especially for us, because no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
So we have to do it. And then we also have to kick down systems and processes and mindsets that say we're not invited, or brush them aside and start your own parade. That's what Barry Manilow said.
Yeah.
Start your own parade.
Yeah.
I always ask the question, why, which is why I'm going to have this conversation tomorrow with this person. But ultimately, I go, why do we keep clamoring to be a part of a system that does not want us?
Because it's the system.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like it's the system, there can be another system.
Totally. And that
And you
system is
can,
Tyler Perry. Which
or
one do you
or
want to be
or
a
not,
part of?
or not, or not. There can be other systems. You know, the Tony Awards. Skip the Tony Awards because I want a Drama Desk Award. Well, skip the Drama Desk Award because I want an Odelco Award. Well, skip the Odelco Award
So I
because I
want
want
an
a Deco Award.
NAACP award.
But right, so there's so many other games to play.
Totally, but ultimately there is a system that leads to, because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
it's about money, right? We need money to survive. We need money to pursue our artistic endeavors. We need
Right.
money to make them happen. We need money to be comfortable. We need money to eat. And at the end of the day, there still is a system. And like you have all of these other, like you said, drama desk. Da, 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 da. Well, guess what? The drama desk does not mean what the Tony does. And quite
Right, but
honestly,
let
the
me say,
Tony doesn't even really mean shit.
well, because I was gonna say, because you can win a Tony Award and still show up at the last 5 minutes of a damn celebration in the
Exactly.
box
You
that we
see what I'm
changed
saying?
behind you.
But the Tony doesn't mean, and in terms of, and so at the end of the day, there is a system. There is a system, and there is only one system. You can try another system, but the fact of the matter is, the world works on a system, and this is
Well,
the system it is.
so then here's the suggestion. And from I guess I don't hang my hat on Broadway. I'm an
Right.
artist. I'm not just a Broadway performer.
Totally.
Someone says, "Well, you've been there, so it's easy to say that." Yeah, but guess what? Patty LuPone said something really interesting to Ken Page when Ken Page didn't get the Tony Award. Patty LuPone said, "You know what, Ken? The base of the Tony Award is plastic." That that gave me a lot of perspective. I have friends on Broadway. You talk about making money. I got friends on Broadway who are on Broadway but still have to go do other things to
Like
make the
they're
money.
like still Lyft driving or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like in Broadway shows. In Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Listen, your girl from Hairspray, who got the Tony Award, you know why she didn't know she was nominated for a Tony? Do you ever hear her talk about this?
Does it have to do
Marissa
with like her
Tomei?
cancer and all that jazz or no?
No, her cell phone bill wasn't paid. She starred in
So
damn
the moral,
Hairspray
so the
and couldn't
moral
pay
I'm
a
taking,
cell phone bill.
the moral I'm taking from this story is that I need to keep my ass in LA because there's no money in New
A
York.
bunch of balls in the air is what you need to do. Keep a bunch of balls in the air. So all I'm saying is either we dismantle systems or we get to the place where we go, this system doesn't work for us. Keep it. You can have it. We're going to go do our own thing. That's been happening for years. That's why these other awards were founded.
Right.
And there are great merits to them. The Helen Hayes Award, they're great merit to them. So either, which is why I guess, again, why I'm going to have this conversation tomorrow, is because I guess ultimately I care, because I am a part of this community. I care that we really reflect who we are.
Yeah.
If there were practices and cancers and paradigms that don't include all, then we need to dismantle it and cure it, kill it, and get rid of it. And last night or Saturday night was another display that people were sitting and some of those people sounded god awful. Let's just tell the truth because I think we teach people to appreciate some
Oh,
horrible.
we definitely teach people to appreciate some awful things, and
I mean,
and that's a big reason why a lot of things aren't widely received because it's like, oh, that's an acquired taste. Like if it's an acquired taste, it doesn't taste good. Like
if it don't taste good, then why the hell are we?
who organized? Do you know who organized
I
the?
don't know who organized it, but and here's the thing: I think it was a benefit for. Excuse me. I think now I have to get the correct information on this, but for an institution that for people,
Fosters children. It was like like fosters children into their
so is
artistic
it
career.
only that they foster white children?
Well, no, she had an Indian one. Remember?
Oh, did she?
Yeah, when
Because
she
the
spoke.
programming for those kids who they are fostering, those kids did not see themselves last night.
It's a very valid point.
What I love about BIV when we go to Ronald McDonald House and do all these things, when BIV is on the scene, you see yourself in us.
But isn't that okay? So, but isn't that kind of what often happens when you become successful, right? Whether you're a successful performer, whether you're successful in business, right? Because you start out kind of like on the outside looking in,
Excuse me.
right? As the young person who's trying to get here. And once you get into the system or the club, you're like, hey, here I am. Here's how to be one of. I mean, isn't that just kind of par for the course to a certain extent?
So here my question then goes back to again, who did that last night on Saturday? Nobody. From the looks of it, nobody did that. Only to say, let's get the ones we know can get the bucks, and I get that. Audra singing the ladies
The
who
latest one, they got
know
Meryl.
Chrissy Gray, right? I get that. I okay, yes. Stokes doing
The
I get
Assassin song,
yeah,
yeah.
I get it. The gun song. I get it. But those are your like in Lynn, those are your typical three.
Yeah.
And they
So if
can't do everything. And Lynn, if I would have been embarrassed by singing Giants in the Sky. It wasn't the greatest.
I
I love him with all my heart.
I
It wasn't the greatest.
I have a lot of thoughts about it. I also I've never met him and I don't know him and I wish
Cool
know him
human being.
well. But
Cool.
I we can talk about I actually have a lot of questions about him. So maybe we can
Mhm.
talk about that
We
offline.
can talk about that offline.
Because I think it's
'Cause I don't
way
want to
too
get in trouble because
difficult.
after all, he is he's close
Yeah,
to getting
like
paid
he's
there.
like I said,
So
I
I
don't
don't
want to
want him to.
like because it's not even coming out of shade. I just have a lot of
Yeah,
questions.
yeah,
I have a
yeah,
lot of questions.
yeah.
But okay, so say this: if you had been in charge of booking that benefit,
Yes.
who was missing that you were like, why isn't this person there
Okay,
and this
can
person?
can I answer this question in two ways?
Yeah.
As a director, and I've had producers get frustrated with me when they hire me and they go, okay, so who would you like to do blah blah blah? And I go, I'm very specific about what my team looks like. So on Top Dog Underdog, for instance, we got nominated for Helen Hayes Award.
I remember. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll go get it if pandemic hadn't kept us on our butts. But I sat with that producer and I said, I hope you don't think I'm gonna have an all black team just because this is a black show.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's important for me to be surrounded by what my community is represented by or who my community is, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I need a black female stage manager. I want my lighting designer to be a same gender loving lighting designer, male or female, or however they identify.
Mm-hmm.
I want my set designer on this to be a white woman. I would love to have a conversation about this play and see what she brings to the table in the telling of the story. I want a white woman for my set designer. Uh, I know this brilliant costumer designer that she's black, she's queer. I want her on my team. My assistant is a white lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my sound designer is a gay man, black man who's been married to his husband for 30 years. That's my sound designer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, and then there's a girl who I did Gospel of Columbus with who always wanted to direct. So I wanted her to be on as an assistant too. So I have my associate director and then an assistant director. Um, and she was a black girl who wants to direct. That was my team.
Mm-hmm.
Go find them. You got to find them.
Totally. So that wasn't what I asked you, though.
No. So when I'm producing, um, Take Me to the World, Take Me to the World, then I need to make sure the world is represented. So I need Patti LaBelle. Is she available? Um, um, is Lady Gaga available? Is Lady Gaga available? Is is uh is ooh, can we get Michael Bublé? Can we get him to do something in his room, in his bedroom? Can we get the old people? The old people really like Cher. Is Cher around? Is she? No, really. I'm thinking about everybody who's gonna probably watch this. Oh, you know who we need to get? This will be so cool because we got foster kids. These are foster kids, and the foster kids are gonna probably watch this. Maybe if I was running the foster home, I make the people watch it because so maybe Blackstreet. What if Blackstreet did a version of Something's Coming? Or or ooh, oh my goodness. What about um and because we are who we are, we can ask anybody and no one's gonna turn us down. So what if Solange and Beyonce got together
And
and
saying, why, oh, why did I ever leave Ohio? Like,
right? You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah,
what my
like
mindset
really,
is
like
about.
just thinking outside of the
Yes,
box because
yes.
the
Where
nature
was
of what
Norm
it
Lewis?
is and the credibility of who's producing it, like there really is the sky really is the limit.
Wait a minute. So
It's
Norm Lewis wasn't there. I know Norm was available. Why
yeah,
wasn't Norm there?
yeah.
I damn sure wasn't gonna have Andre the Shield sing a 2-second clip.
That
And
was really weird. Like when he
I'm still
popped up,
here.
I
He's
was like,
singing the whole.
oh.
Yeah, he's gonna sing the whole song. I'm just gonna sing it. Lilius White. What was Lilius?
Yeah, Lilius was not there. You're
Yeah.
right.
Where was uh uh let me see. Oh, oh, they like her at Chicago. I hear she's a bitch on wheels, but BB Newirth.
You know, that was so funny because there was someone I thought when they started doing that ensemble thing at the end, there was for a second, 'cause I was watching it on my phone. I was like, "Is that BB New?" Yeah, she didn't show up, but I mean,
Now,
she's
ooh,
obviously a
Jordan.
singer.
No, she's not. But you know what they keep putting on Broadway, just like Harvey Fierstein, so why not? Um, but here's a thought. It's true. Here's a thought. That whole ensemble thing you wanted to do,
What?
give it to him, Bobby. I was about to laugh, laugh, laugh. You can really have fun. Fun. Everybody good
Oh my
time.
God! Did you watch Fosse Verdon on FX,
Oh,
the Ryan Murphy show?
okay. Yeah, I actually love that show.
Wasn't
I
it
love it.
good?
I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I wanted to say this. That whole last ensemble thing they would have done, that they did,
Hmm.
that's your up and coming stars.
Exactly. That should have
Up and
happened before the
coming.
credits rolled. Not for nothing. Because, like,
Yeah.
people probably didn't even see it happening. Like,
I said, who did this?
yeah,
Who did this?
yeah.
Who
Well,
did this?
yeah,
Who? You know
yeah.
what? You know what? You know who else? You know who else I would have asked for?
Ooh.
I mean, not for nothing. She can't really sing, but we bring non-singers on all the time anyway. Why not Britney Spears?
I'm only laughing because I, I've
She's
been
about to
having
have a
this whole
musical on
Britney
Broadway.
Spears. She's been on Broadway.
She's about to have a whole musical of her
Oh, the
catalog.
Britney. Well, no, but that that's a valid point. Like thinking about you talked about Cher. It's like, well, this is like, hello, people. Remember what's on Broadway. Remember what's coming on Broadway. Remember why you need Broadway. Absolutely, absolutely on that.
I hurt my own nose.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if I was in the room on that producing meeting, I'd be like, hold the presses. Hold the presses.
Although, do you think that it being a Sondheim thing skews that, right? Because Sondheim, like if you think about like it reminds me of like when I was back in music school, like the classical people were like, oh, and Sondheim, like if you're in the in the musical theater, if musical theater was all of music, Sondheim's like, oh well, this is Mozart, so we have to do it this way. You know what I mean? Like Sondheim.
But the people they got couldn't do it that way. I'm gonna say it because Michael Severus. Here, pitch.
Oh my god.
Calm down. Every time he held a
here's
note.
what I did think was interesting because they clearly they pre-recorded everything. I'm assuming, and
that's the worst part of it. Then
because the whole the thing from Pacific Overtures with Ann Harada and all that, like they were like there clearly was an issue with
syncing
the incoming sound and I thought that was there because I'm like, well, this is pre-recorded. Like you couldn't even
clean it up.
Yeah, like I remember thinking like, oh, like.
Or skip the production and let it be what it's gonna be, right? Because we're not. See, but this is that authenticity thing. This is why I say we're not learning anything in this pandemic because you're trying to trick people. This ain't live. If it's gonna be live, let it be live with all of its foibles, and we can laugh at it and have a great time.
Otherwise, produce it well. You know who I thought did a really good job because he did what he does. Randy Rainbow.
What did he do?
He sang "By the Sea." He's the guy. Like, do you ever watch his videos? Like, he does all those spoof songs and stuff. And I thought it worked because he did a Randy Rainbow video.
Well, okay, so I didn't know who he was, but that's great. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what my takeaway was, though?
Yeah.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, go for it.
Because I'm a straight black director.
Absolutely.
I'm straight, but my best friend is gay. No. I get what he was doing, but I was like, I don't want to see another girly boy. I don't want to. Why am I? What I was
gonna say is, and Google him because he just did but like what he did.
When I say stuff like that.
What'd you say?
I get in trouble when I say stuff like that.
No, but it's true. But what I'm saying is the reason I think it worked is because like it was on brand. Like if you was someone you followed and you like subscribed to him and you watched his videos, like that was not. He wasn't trying to insert himself into a Stephen Sondheim thing. Okay. He did Randy Rainbow. Like he did an advertisement for himself, and that's why I thought he was one of the best people.
So knowing that now, because I sped through him, I was like, not that, because again, I love. I lost this person's name. Why wasn't Billy Porter on?
You got it. Yes.
Wait a minute.
And they didn't sing Sunday.
Why wasn't the Broadway Inspirational Voices a part of this?
You got it.
I'm just saying.
You got it. But again, I think it goes back to who organized it, because I mean, like, yes, people are shitty, but at the same time, just in the nature of what we do, people just work with who they know, and they call with who they know, and they call with who the thing, and then they're like, okay, we've got 25 people, we got it.
Right. So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I love the way you said I'm being a contrarian, so I'm gonna be contrarian.
Okay.
And you're gonna think, DeMone, this is a dumbass question. Why are you asking this? Fuck out of here. No. When you are going into a burning building.
Why would I do that?
No, well, just it's popular to do, going into burning buildings. Mm-hmm. I'm going into one right now. What do you do when you're going into a burning building? What do you make sure you have? What do you do?
You.
Let me scratch that. Let me scratch, let me scratch that. But it was a good question, but I'm gonna scratch it. Here's the question. When you are going out to the club, you going to the club. You ain't been out in the clip, but you going to the club.
Uh-huh.
And you know what do you take it? What do you make sure you have when you're going to the club?
Condoms.
What else?
Credit card.
Come on. I know that's hard for you because you fine and stuff, so you don't need you like somebody else buying my drinks. But with that in mind, what else do you take? What do you do?
What do you mean? You have your cell phone, you have
Uh-huh.
your wallet, you might have a
Hmm.
couple of friends.
Right. And if you're going to a certain club, what do you do for that certain club?
Gee, no, just that was a joke.
No, it wasn't. No,
That was totally a joke.
we'll talk offline about that one. Um, I guess my point is you prepare yourself for the place where you're going,
Right,
right?
right.
I'm going into the fire. I'm gonna make sure I have my fire jacket on, my oxygen tank. I'm gonna make sure my boots are ready, and I'm gonna have my hose.
Oh, that's the problem. You should have said if you're a fireman and you're
But
going
but
into
it's
a.
not even a fireman.
I'm
Like
like,
if I,
why?
no
Like
no
this way.
no
Why
no
am
but,
I going into a burning
no
building?
no but if I if if even if I'm not even a fireman, if I know I'm gonna go into that burning building, I'm not going in anything that's gonna make me flammable.
No, totally.
If
I
I'm going to the club, you're right. I'm gonna make sure I got my condoms. I'm gonna make sure I got my best clothes on because that club not gonna let me in with no holy jeans on and no Tims. I
yeah.
gotta, you know. So if I'm producing for a construct, like if I know, especially now in the culture, we are fighting about diversity. We
Yeah.
having this conversation with this damn D word. Then I want to make sure no one's gonna call me out and be like, that mother trucker right
But I don't
there.
think that they were producing for that. I think that they were like the Wiz at
But that's the
whatchamacallit. Oh my
problem.
God, I'm producing a Sondheim birthday concert.
Right, but that's the problem. They weren't thinking that.
Hmm.
Anybody who gets, and maybe, I'm gonna say it's incendiary, but I'm gonna say it. Now I'm thinking before I say it.
You're like,
In 2020, although it happens, if anybody contracts a disease like a disease that we know we can,
that you don't have to contract. That
I'm
that you
looking
know
at
how to
you.
not contract. There are
I'm
ways to not
looking at you
contract.
with all of the side eye. You can't walk down the street without being slapped in the face with a condom and a promotion or a
Yeah,
commercial or
yeah.
something. So I'm looking at you side eyed if you talk about you positive. Unless
Hmm.
someone made a mistake at the hospital giving you a blood transfusion. But
Hmm.
even then, I'm looking at the people in the hospital going,
Like
somebody
really, we know what this is
right,
about. We know
right.
what this. Yeah.
So if I know what people in the Broadway community are fighting about and what there's a big hoopla about when I'm producing, when I'm directing. But see, this is so privileged people have got to check their
Well,
privilege.
but that's the thing. Again, would you necessarily?
I
Because
do.
I don't. What are they talking about? Like unconscious bias. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you think about it because you are a black man who works in the theater,
Mhm.
and if you are a white man who works in the theater, you know you're aware of it and you're thoughtful of it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a part of your just subconscious thought process, right?
You know what? But that, see, Jordan, to
And I'm
me,
not excusing it.
well, no, but that's what I'm about to say. Now in 2020, I don't even buy that excuse because you can't walk down the street without somebody talking about check your blind sides, check your blind, check your
I see
privilege.
what you say. So it goes
Check.
back to like like you're getting the side eye from me because
Listen,
it's
yeah,
not there isn't an excuse anymore.
because it's all in your face right now.
Yeah.
I'm a straight black man. I'm a very affectionate straight black man. I'm a huggy, touchy, feely director.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the rehearsal room, I go, and now I'm going to touch your shoulders to move you downstage left. Do I have your consent?
Right. Because I get it, because it's like it's what it is, and now if you all of a
Yeah.
sudden shut up like, oh my God, and he made me uncomfortable, it's like, dude,
Everybody in the
why'd you
room
even
now
put yourself?
knows.
I think that's funny. Everyone made fun of Mike Pence when he was like, I'm never gonna. Turns out he's right all along. Oh
I
my
give him
God.
credit for that one.
Oh my God, DeMone, I love you so much.
I love you
We need to
too.
wrap this up, but I'm gonna give you a buzz this week, and
No,
we have to. And now it's time to say goodbye to all my theater friends.
time
But
to
I'm gonna
say
give you a call this week because something you said a little earlier kind of gave me a little idea.
write it
And
down.
well, I'll tell you I have to do a little bit of research on my side
Okay.
first to see if it's
Okay.
something that's feasible, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about it. And then I definitely want to talk to you about Lynn.
Well,
And
let's talk about it. Listen, Jordan, thank you so much for letting me invite myself onto your
well,
Negro. I'm
speaking of
coming
which,
on your show, and you
I'm
better find a day. You better make some room.
so I
Um,
know that there's no live theater at the moment, but where can our viewers and our region, like, where can they follow you?
you know what? Look out on Facebook, DeMone Seraphin. Um, and though because I'm no longer the artistic director of the New American Theater Company because we've transitioned, but
Hmm.
we will post things on the New American Theater Co. NY, the New American Theater RE Co. NY. Go to that Facebook page, and we're gonna put the stuff about the Wilson Canon reading. Uh,
Yeah.
we put stuff online there. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm horrible at this social media thing, but follow DeMone Seraphin on Instagram, DeMoneSeraphin. That's my Instagram handle. Follow me there, and we'll post stuff there too. Listen, I want to just encourage everybody, but I know we got to go. Don't let this moment pass you by without taking a moment of introspection so that when you get to the other side of this thing, you don't go to the other side the way you came in. That's my only hope and prayer for everybody is that we take advantage of what this moment is to be quarantined, to be set apart, to get silent, be quiet and go in and look at the things that man, if it's a blotch, if it's a blockade, if it's antiquated thinking, like do the work so that when we get to the other side of this thing, we're not taking old shit into a new season.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's
I
all.
think that's a fab. Yeah. Indeed. Cheers. Here's hoping.
It's empty. Okay, yours lost too. Jordan, thank you so much. And I want let's please, and we still got to make that thing happen because I think we can. I think
I do as well. I do as well. So we'll talk offline. Thank you all for watching
we
and listening to the Showtime with Jordan von Haslow podcast. We will all see you next week.
can.
Bye.
Bye.